Hola! Today we're going to be making Magdalenas. It's a Spanish dish that originated in France and diffused over to Spain, and it's a very popular dish. The recipe today calls for a lot of ingredients. It's a tablespoon of milk, 1 2/3 cups of flour, a cup of sugar, 4 ounces of butter or a whole stick, a tablespoon of baking powder, a tablespoon of lemon zest, 4 large eggs. And all these will make 18 muffins. So make sure you have 18 muffin tins. And make sure all of your dairy products are at room temperature so that way when they mix together, it creates a more airy mixture. This is gonna be very good. I'm really looking forward to this. Now we're gonna go preheat our oven and start melting our butter. We're gonna preheat the oven to 375 degrees. So we're gonna go bake 375 rapid preheat. And that'll get our oven ready to actually cook the Magdalenas. And then we can set our butter on the stovetop and set it to medium heat. And this will get the butter ready to put into the Magdalena mix. And now we can actually start preparing the Magdalenas. Okay, now the first thing you want to do is to separate 1/4 cup of sugar into a separate bowl. We're gonna use that later. And then we're gonna use the rest of the 3/4 cup of sugar, put it in a bowl with 4 eggs here. So we're gonna crack our 4 eggs and put it in the bowl. And then we are going to mix it up until it is light and fluffy. So we're going to put the attachment onto the mixer. Okay, so now that the attachment is on and that our mixer is plugged in, we can lower the mixer. We're gonna lock it into place and turn it on to about a 2. So that way it mixes thoroughly the 3/4 cup of sugar and the 4 eggs. And we're gonna mix it until it's light and fluffy. Okay, so now that our butter is melted off the oven, we're gonna now slowly add it to our egg and sugar mix. And we don't want to add this too quickly. We want to add it very slowly because the hot butter could actually cook the eggs, and we want to add it slowly so that way it does not cook the eggs. We do not want cooked eggs, like scrambled eggs, in our Magdalenas. Okay guys, so right now I'm zesting a lemon. We want a full tablespoon of lemon. And then we're gonna mix that together with a tablespoon of milk. And this is later going to be mixed into our entire mix. And the zest of the lemon is really gonna help bring out the flavor. That's why it's called lemon Magdalenas. We're gonna keep zesting until we have enough for a full tablespoon, and then we can mix that into our milk. Okay, so now that our melted butter is added in, we're gonna change this feature to the stir feature. And that's gonna allow us to add our lemon zest and milk mixture that we prepared earlier. We're gonna add this into the mixture of eggs and butter and sugar that we prepared earlier. So we're gonna add all this together into the mix and let it stir nice and good. That's why we put it on the stir feature. We did not want it to be too rough with all of our ingredients. We wanted to add it nice and cleanly into the mix. Okay, so currently I'm mixing together the 1 2/3 of flour and then the tablespoon of baking powder. And it's very important to get these mixed thoroughly through so that way it gets mixed thoroughly in the final recipe. Okay, so now that we have this mixture of flour and baking powder, we can now add it to the mixture that we have currently going in the KitchenAid. And this you also want to add slow. It's going to fluff up and it's going to be very thick. So we want to make sure that we are very careful when we add this. So do not worry if your mixture becomes very thick, and it's normal to be that way, and it'll work itself out in the final product. Okay, so now that our mixture is thoroughly complete, we can now start scooping it out into our muffin tins. And it's actually okay to use your hands here to get it off. It's gonna be very tricky because this mixture is very thick, as we said earlier. And you're gonna wanna fill it up about halfway. Don't worry about it being too low. These muffins are gonna more than double in size by the time you're finished. So we're gonna add this in until it's halfway. And I'd say that looks about good. So now we can keep going until we have used our entire mixture. Now this whole time you might have been wondering, what are we gonna do with this extra 1/4 cup of sugar that we set aside from the very beginning? So what we're actually gonna do with this is we're gonna grab a little bit and just sprinkle it across the tops of all of our little muffins. And this is gonna give it a nice little crunch with the final product, and also add a little bit of sweetness at the same time. Okay, so that concludes the preparing part of our recipe. Now we're gonna put it in the oven and cook it for 18 to 20 minutes. And the recipe did not make as many as planned. It only made about 16 muffins, but that's okay because it still makes enough for the entire family to enjoy. I'm really looking forward to trying these in 18 to 20 minutes. Okay, so now that both of our muffin trays are in, we can actually start the timer. We're gonna set it for 18 minutes at the beginning, and we can adjust as we go forth. Okay, so now that our 18-minute timer has gone off, we're gonna check it to make sure that these are done and ready to eat. And a good way that you can test this is by sticking a toothpick into the muffin, and if it comes out clean with nothing on it, then you know that it's ready to eat. So we're gonna stick our toothpick in and it comes out with nothing on it. So I think that means that these are ready. And we're gonna try one more time just to make sure. And yes, these are ready. We're gonna take these out real quick and let them cool for 5 minutes, and then they should be ready to eat. Okay, so now that the muffins have cooled for 5 minutes, we're gonna have my family try it and get their reactions to how these turned out.
The sugar is muy bueno.
Yo soy, mis llegas. Gracias. Muy bueno en el baño, zapatos. Vámonos.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Isaac's Cooking. Be sure to subscribe and hit the like button. Also, leave a comment down below of what food you want to see me make next. Overall, I love the taste of these. I love the crunch of the sugar and the taste of the lemon zest. I would definitely make these again. Thanks for watching.